Good evening again, and welcome back, I guess. We are here back in the longing. My name is Wazations, and let's go on a bit of a wander, shall we? See what we can see. Let's start by going upstairs and going through the door, probably. Oh, so... see, this is what I didn't do last time. Something popped up and I didn't realise what happened. So if I remember this place... Oh, so that'll take me back to the... King... No, it doesn't. Come on. I thought it would take me back to the king's room if I clicked there. But I guess not. Oh wait, it's a slightly different... Oh, because I'm already there. Oh, okay, no, hang on, that takes me home. Okay, so I don't need... No, I don't need that again. Okay, I understand. So let's go for a wander. And I think we're going to go through the stairs, through the door at the top of these stairs. Well, the door at the top of the next set of stairs. And again, the game is still pretty loud. But up we go. That might be a little bit of coal that is there waiting on at the stairs. Yes, it is. Ooh, a lump of coal. Okay, that doesn't go anywhere. I was wondering if maybe that was a secret passageway. Hidden from view. Nope, again that one doesn't go any further. And our king sleeps. Or whatever he is. So up we go. Today as well, we're going to start on one of the books. Up, up, and out. This door hasn't opened in a long time. It might take a while. Oh my. It is actually slowly opening. That's fine. We'll let it take its time. We'll just stand here and ponder. Whilst it slowly opens. Grinding across the stone, I guess. I could squeeze through already. But not to wait until the door is open in full glory would be blasphemy. Do you know what? I'm actually okay with that. It sounds like it's fully open. Through we go. Ooh, this is slightly different. This seems like a great place to be lonely. I better remember the way. Ah. So this is where it would like to make me see I see. So the question is, where do we go from here? There are quite a few options, and there is a walk to a random place. Let's take a little stroll, shall we? And let's see where we end up. Seems like we're going up the left staircase. Actually, it looks like the right one has slightly fallen in. It seems we are going through the left doorway as well. That's nice. It's interesting that the underground caves seem to be bringing light in. Taking a stroll in these magnificent halls sure is a fulfilling occupation. Let's pick up some coal, shall we? Lump of coal. And let's walk again to a random place. Let's see where we end up. Let's not stop and pick up any more coal. Question is, will we go through the left door or the right door? We're going through the left door. Let's see what's down this passageway. Another set of stairs. I should talk to myself more often. We are talking to ourselves in solitude, wandering these empty halls. Exploring. And still we walk. In the dark. Quite alone. That actually looks like it might be flint. So we might take a detour. Take a moment to pick these bits up. Piece of flint. Okay, so it's just one piece of flint, really. Let's keep going. Oh, we're going back. Okay. Seems we're going a different random way where we've just come from. Okay, this is okay. Upwards we go. Just listening to the pitter-patter of the shade's feet. It looks like another door that it would be a shame to not wait to open completely before passing through. But the question is, will we randomly walk there? It does not appear so. We appear to be going higher and higher and higher. And higher still. It looks like there does seem to be some red, which might actually be the red rock we need to do more colouring. Interesting where you end up if you just follow your nose. And it seems like this is our stopping point. So we will pick up this. A piece of clay. Now I have some red colour for my paintings. Let's see where else we get taken. We'll take a little stroll. Let's see where I end up. I feel it would be nice to just randomly take a stroll. In these caves, all alone. And it seems like we're going all the way back down these stairs. Now I suppose I could have saved that as a previous location, but I'm sure we'll find our way back there at some point. After all, I will eventually visit everywhere. Everywhere that I can. I'm in no rush. I have plenty of time. We can just peacefully walk along these halls and corridors, up and down stairs, up and down ramps, to the hidden corners of this little realm. This looks like the entrance to a dark and lonely place, just the thing I need. That's quite sad. There are many chambers, I guess. Passageways. 3 doors. Which one shall I choose? I don't know. Let's see which one we do choose. We are choosing the middle door. And now we are crawling through a tiny passageway that initially would seem quite uninviting. It may yet end up being nowhere that it leads us. No, we seem to have come out in a cavern with a little lake, a little pool of water. I do wonder if the shade will walk through this pool or if it will stop at the edge. Oh no. It's not deep. We can pass through it. This would be a good source of water, potentially for running water. We're taking the left tunnel, the left set of stairs, sorry, at a junction that meets in the middle. And we seem to be at another set of 3 doors, and this seems to be where our random walk brings us. Now then, we could head directly back. Wait a second. That is not the door I thought to go through. Let's have a look at the left door. That is a ledge that I don't believe I would be able to get back up from. So for now we're just going to go back. I keep pressing the right click to move when it's actually right click to interact, so we've come back and forth through this door. I think what we'll do, following this little walk, is now to walk home. Which it seems our little shade here knows the best route. Oh, that was a fun little drop, but I guess we would not be able to go up that way. Hold the phone? Is this not the same set of doors we originally were at? We may have just gone in a bit of a loop, but that's fine. We're not in a rush. Just traversing the caverns, exploring peacefully. And now we're back into the lighter areas of the caverns, out of the dark and lonely place, into the light and lonely place, where we are still the only walker, the only wanderer. Now we're heading back to the comfort of our armchair and the solitude of our books. Few though they may be, they are still ours. And yes, this may not be the most fun-filled, action-packed game out there, but sometimes it's nice to just take a moment to go slow, to pace along and think, to connect within yourself and think about everything to do with you. That you don't need to be rushing along in the world. Time is passing, and it is what you make of it. You do have choice. For example, if we wanted, we could just let the shade sit in that armchair, staring out into the world, and let the time pass. We also have the choice to explore these caves, to understand our little area, to see what we can see. Because even in the darkest of caves, there can be beauty, if you just keep going. Even if you don't know where that has come from, or why it is there. No matter what happens, you have a choice. And right now, we are choosing to head back to our little comfortable zone after our little wander in the dark tunnels. And who knows, tomorrow we may walk to a new area, and we may well find something new. We may find nothing at all, but at least we've made that choice. And that is our choice to make. There may be some days we decide not to go for a wander, to just sit and think, sit and read, sit and talk. None of what I'm saying here is planned. This is all purely spur of the moment thinking. But does that make it wrong? No. Not necessarily. The way I see it is that this game is not about making fast-paced decisions, not about trying to get to the end goal as quick as you can, but taking the time to appreciate what you can see right in front of you. Taking the time to make your own choice. After all, there will be many who have probably played this game just by starting the game up, realizing that it takes 400 days of real time, and then uninstalling the game purely because it's not action-packed, it's not fast-paced. But if we take a look now, we are home in our little comfortable area, and we can draw. We can draw with a new colour, which actually gives us a whole new palette of options. Oh, we only have one more piece of paper. I see. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we did have a louse request, oops, in the thoughts. So let's take a moment to take a look at our thoughts, collect them up, and see if any more have been added. It appears there are only 5 pages still. Oh, but look, our thoughts have changed. This used to say, I wonder when I will have discovered every part of the cave. So far, I haven't seen anything. But that last part has been crossed out. Now it says, I wonder when I will have discovered every part of the cave. I have seen a little bit. Now, that is a choice, and our thoughts have changed. Changed based on what we have seen. It even documents how much we've got. We have no disappointments. We have 1 flint, 8 pieces of coal, and 1 piece of paper. So I think it would be nice, well, to draw a lice picture, since that's what they seem to want. The shade wants the lice picture. It's a good idea to collect my thoughts in a book. I still have several things troubling my mind that I could try to figure out. And that's not a bad idea. Keeping a journal or a diary, or even just expressing your thoughts on paper, or in this modern age, electronically, is not necessarily a bad thing, even if we only keep it for ourselves and never show anyone else. That doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. But let's draw that lice picture. Louse picture, sorry. Although what is new? So water is new. Well, anyway, let's draw the louse. Fulfill one of the shade's thoughts. nearly done. And apparently, ooh, we can never have enough lice pictures. We can choose where to put it as well. Let's put it over by the fire. Actually, yeah, let's hang it over the fire. There we go. Let's see if our thoughts have changed. Let's read a book on our thoughts. No change, but we seem to have fulfilled a little bit. So let's read The Goose Girl, or at least a little bit of The Goose Girl. The Goose Girl. There was once upon a time an old queen whose husband had been dead for many years, and she had a beautiful daughter. When the princess grew up, she was betrothed to a prince who lived at a great distance. When the time came for her to be married, and she had to journey forth into the distant kingdom, the aged queen packed up for her many costly vessels of silver and gold, and trinkets also of gold and silver, and cups and jewels, in short, everything which appertained to a royal dowry, for she loved her child with all her heart. She likewise sent her maid-in-waiting, who was to ride with her and hand her over to the bridegroom, and each had a horse for the journey. But the horse of the king's daughter was called Falada, and could speak. So when the hour of parting had come, the aged mother went into her bedroom, took a small knife, and cut her finger with it until it bled. Then she held a white handkerchief to it, into which she let 3 drops of blood fall, gave it to her daughter, and said, "Dear child, preserve this carefully. It will be of service to you on your way." So they took a sorrowful leave of each other. The princess put the piece of cloth in her bosom, mounted her horse, and then went away to her bridegroom. After she had ridden for a while, she felt a burning thirst, and said to her waiting maid, "Dismount and take my cup, which thou hast brought with thee for me, and get me some water from the stream, for I should like to drink." "If you are thirsty," said the waiting maid, "get off your horse yourself, and lie down and drink out of the water. I don't choose to be your servant." So in her great thirst the princess alighted, bent down over the water in the stream, and drank, and was not allowed to drink out of the golden cup. Then she said, "Ah, heaven!" And the 3 drops of blood answered, "If thy mother knew this, her heart would break." But the king's daughter was humble, and said nothing, and mounted her horse again. She rode some miles further, but the day was warm. The sun scorched her, and she was thirsty once more. And when they came to a stream of water, she again cried to her waiting maid, "Dismount and give me some water in my golden cup," for she had long ago forgotten the girl's ill words. But the waiting maid said still more haughtily, "If you wish to drink, drink as you can. I don't choose to be your maid." Then in her great thirst the king's daughter alighted, bent over the flowing stream, wept and said, "Ah, heaven!" And the drops of blood again replied, "If thy mother knew this, her heart would break." And as she was thus drinking and leaning right over the stream, the handkerchief with the 3 drops of blood fell out of her bosom, and floated away with the water without her observing it. So great was her trouble. The waiting maid, however, had seen it, and she rejoiced to think that she now had power over the bride, for since the princess had lost the drops of blood, she had become weak and powerless. So now when she wanted to mount her horse again, the one that was called Falada, the waiting maid said, "Falada is more suitable for me, and my nag will do for thee." And the princess had to be content with that. Then the waiting maid, with many hard words, bade the princess exchange her royal apparel for her own shabby clothes, and at length she was compelled to swear by the clear sky above her that she would not say one word of this to anyone at the royal court, and if she had not taken this oath she would have been killed on the spot. But Falada saw all this and observed it well. The waiting maid now mounted Falada, and the true bride the bad horse, and thus they travelled onwards until at length they entered the royal palace. There were great rejoicings over her arrival, and the prince sprang forward to meet her, lifted the waiting maid from her horse, and thought she was his consort. She was conducted upstairs, but the real princess was left standing below. Then the old king looked out of the window and saw her standing in the courtyard, and how dainty and delicate and beautiful she was, and instantly went to the royal apartment and asked the bride about the girl she had with her, who was standing down below in the courtyard, and who she was. "I picked her up on my way for a companion. Give the girl something to work at, that she may not stand idle." But the old king had no work for her, and knew of none. So he said, "I have a little boy who tends the geese. She may help him." The boy was called Conrad, and the true bride had to help him to tend the geese. Soon afterwards the false bride said to the young king, "Dearest husband, I beg you to do me a favour." He answered, "I will do so most willingly." "Then send for the knacker, and have the head of the horse on which I rode here cut off, for it vexed me on the way." In reality she was afraid that the horse might tell how she had behaved to the king's daughter. Then she succeeded in making the king promise that it should be done, and the faithful Falada was to die. This came to the ears of the real princess, and she secretly promised to pay the knacker a piece of gold if he would perform a small service for her. There was a great dark-looking gateway in the town, through which morning and evening she had to pass with the geese. Would he be so good as to nail up Falada's head on it, so that she might see him again more than once? The knacker's man had promised to do that, and cut off the head and nailed it fast beneath the gateway. Early in the morning, when she and Conrad drove out their flock beneath the gateway, she said in passing, "Alas, Falada, hanging there." Then the head answered, "Alas, young queen, how ill you fare. If this your tender mother knew, her heart would surely break in two." Then they went still further out of the town, and drove their geese into the country. And when they had come to the meadow, she sat down and unbound her hair, which was like pure gold, and Conrad saw it and delighted in its brightness, and wanted to pluck out a few hairs. Then she said, "Blow, blow, thou gentle wind, I say. Blow Conrad's little hat away, and make him chase it here and there until I have braided all my hair, and bound it up again." And there came such a violent wind that it blew Conrad's hat far away across the country, and he was forced to run after it. When he came back she had finished combing her hair and was putting it up again, and he could not get any of it. Then Conrad was angry and would not speak to her, and thus they watched the geese until the evening, and then they went home. Next day, when they were driving the geese out through the dark gateway, the maiden said, "Alas, Falada, hanging there." Falada answered, "Alas, young queen, how ill you fare. If this your tender mother knew, her heart would surely break in two." And she sat down again in the field and began to comb out her hair, and Conrad ran and tried to clutch it. So she said in haste, "Blow, blow, thou gentle wind, I say. Blow Conrad's little hat away, and make him chase it here and there until I have braided all my hair, and bound it up again." Then the wind blew and blew his little hat off his head and far away, and Conrad was forced to run after it, and when he came back, her hair had been put up in a long time, and he could get none of it. And so they looked after their geese till the evening came. But in the evening, after they had got home, Conrad went to the old king and said, I won't tend the geese with that girl any longer." "Why not?" inquired the aged king. "Oh, because she vexes me the whole day long." Then the aged king commanded him to relate what it was that she did to him, and Conrad said, "In the morning when we pass beneath the dark gateway with the flock, there is a sorry horse's head on the wall, and she says to it, 'Alas, Falada, hanging there,' and the head replies, 'Alas, young queen, how ill you fare. If this your tender mother knew, her heart would surely break in two.'" And Conrad went on to relate what happened on the goose pasture, and how when there he had to chase his hat. The aged king commanded him to drive his flock out again next day, and as soon as morning came, he placed himself behind the dark gateway, and heard how the maiden spoke to the head of Falada. And then he too went into the country, and hid himself in the thicket in the meadow. There he soon saw with his own eyes the goose girl and the goose boy bringing their flock, and how after a while she sat down and plaited her hair, which shone with radiance. And soon she said, "Blow, blow, thou gentle wind, I say, blow Conrad's little hat away, and make him chase it here and there, until I have braided all my hair, and bound it up again." Then came a blast of wind, and carried off Conrad's hat, so that he had to run far away, while the maiden quietly went on combing and plaiting her hair, all of which the king observed. Then, quite unseen, he went away, and when the goose girl came home in the evening, he called her aside, and asked why she did all these things. "I may not tell you that, and I dare not lament my sorrows to any human being, for I have sworn not to do so by the heaven which is above me. If I had not done that, I should have lost my life." He urged her and left her no peace, but he could draw nothing from her. Then said he, "If thou wilt not tell me anything, tell thy sorrows to the iron stove there." And he went away. Then she crept into the iron stove, and began to weep and lament, and emptied her whole heart, and said, "Here I am, deserted by the whole world, and yet I am a king's daughter, and a false waiting maid has by force brought me to such a pass that I have been compelled to put off my royal apparel, and she has taken my place with my bridegroom, and I have to perform menial service as a goose girl. If my mother did but know that, her heart would break." The aged king, however, was standing outside by the pipe of the stove, and was listening to what she said, and heard it. Then he came back again, and bade her come out of the stove, and royal garments were placed on her, and it was marvellous how beautiful she was. The aged king summoned his son, and revealed to him that he had got the false bride, who was only a waiting maid, but that the true one was standing there, as the sometime goose girl. The young king rejoiced with all his heart when he saw her, beauty and youth, and a great feast was made ready, to which all the people and all good friends were invited. At the head of the table sat the bridegroom, with the king's daughter at one side of him, and the waiting maid on the other, but the waiting maid was blinded, and did not recognize the princess in her dazzling array. When they had eaten and drunk and were merry, the aged king asked the waiting maid as a riddle what a person deserved who had behaved in such and such a way to her master, and at the same time related the whole story, and asked what sentence such a one merited. Then the false bride said, "She deserves no better fate than to be stripped entirely naked, and put in a barrel which is studded inside with pointed nails, and 2 white horses should be harnessed to it, which will drag her along through the street, one after another, till she is dead. It is thou, said the aged king, and thou hast pronounced thine own sentence, and thus it shall be done unto thee." And when the sentence had been carried out, the young king married his true bride, and both of them reigned over their kingdom in peace and happiness. The end. Well, that was not the ending I was expecting. I don't know about anyone else. But that was an interesting fairy tale. And I think with that, we should just leave it for the day. We'll sit back in our chair and sit and stare. And I will say, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Wazations, and this is The Longing. I hope you'll join me tomorrow, where we will do a little bit more exploring, a little bit more pondering, and we'll read another story. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.